To the next session of carbonyl compound, students. This is the last session of carbonyl compounds. Let us discuss about oxidation and reduction reactions and distinction between aldehydes and ketones and the important points which we have covered in carbonyl compounds in this session. Okay students, let me start the first oxidation reactions. Oxidation reactions. Okay, the first oxidation reaction is Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. The first oxidation reaction is Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. In this oxidation reaction, we will take carbonyl compounds and treat it with, we will take carbonyl compounds. Okay. Carbonyl compounds, okay, aldehydes, we'll take aldehydes, ketones, okay, we'll take aldehydes, ketones. Ketones we'll take two types, aliphatic ketones and cyclic ketones. We will take aliphatic ketones and cyclic ketones. Okay students, we will treat it with per-acetic acid, trifluoro-per-acetic acid, per-benzoic acid. We use these reagents for oxidation. What happens in Baeyer-Villiger oxidation? Insertion of oxidation reaction means addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogens. In this case, we will add oxygen, so to form esters. And what about cyclic ketones? Cyclic ketones form lactones. Okay students, this is about Baeyer-Villiger oxidation reaction. If you take carbonyl compounds, aldehydes, ketones, aliphatic compounds, aliphatic ketones, cyclic ketones and treat it with per-acetic acid PAA, trifluoro-per-acetic acid TFPAA, okay, and per-benzoic acid PBA, esters, lactones, etc. are formed. Okay, let us do this Baeyer-Villiger oxidation with an examples so that you can clearly understand students. Okay, let me write the example. Okay students, what is the general formula of aldehyde? Trifluoroacetic acid. So, carbon and hydrogen. Between carbon and hydrogen, insertion of oxygen takes place. OH. Okay, if you take ketones, RC double bond OR, trifluoroacetic acid, benzoic acid, perbenzoic acid, you can use anything. RC double bond OR, esters are formed. In this case, carboxylic acids are formed. In this case, esters are formed. Okay, this is the general equation for aldehydes and ketones. If you take aldehyde and treat it with undergo Baeyer-Villiger oxidation, you will get carboxylic acid. If you take ketones, you will get esters. Let us solve some examples students. Okay, right? For example, if you take acetaldehyde, CH3C double bond OH, acetaldehyde. Let us do an example with ketone, acetone. Okay, this is ketone. I'll do one example for one category. This is an example for aldehyde category. Right students? This is an example for ketone category. Okay. Next, this is an example for cyclic ketone category. What happens? Let us take cyclohexanone. What is the name of this compound students? Cyclohexanone. If it undergoes Baeyer-Villiger's oxidation, Baeyer-Villiger oxidation, what are the reagents we use students? Perbenzoic acid, per-acetic acid. Let us take trifluoroacetic acid. You can use any one of these reagent. Perbenzoic acid, per-acetic acid. Okay. So let us take TFAA. What happens when it undergoes Baeyer-Villiger oxidation? What I said students, insertion of oxygen takes place between C and H. So tell me the answer. Write the answer along with me. OH. Understood, students? Between C and H, insertion of oxygen takes place. Okay, in this case, what you got? Acetic acid. What happens in this case? CH3, C double bond O, OCH3. Okay, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Insertion of oxygen here or here results in the same product because these are symmetrical alkyl groups. Okay, what is the name of this compound? Methyl ester. Okay, methyl ester. Next, if you take cyclic ketone, okay students, if you take cyclic ketone, cyclohexanone, benzene ring without bonds is called cyclohexane, right? I have taken a double bond O, it becomes cyclohexanone. So, the oxygen will be inserted here, double bond O. This compound is called as lactone. It is new to you students. Please observe the formula. I mean observe the structure of lactones, right? Okay. Insertion of oxygen here between these two carbons and between these two carbons is same because this carbon is symmetrical to this carbon. So, lactones are formed. This is a very, very important oxidation reaction of carbonyl compound, students. That is Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. Okay, students. Let us move into the next reactions. What is oxidation, students? Addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. In the case of Baeyer-Villiger oxidation, we are adding oxygens. Okay, let us move into the next category. Reduction reactions. Okay, reduction reactions. Let us take the first reaction as MPV. The full form of this reaction is Meerwein-Pondorf-Verley. Meerwein-Pondorf-Verley reaction. It is a reduction reaction. What happens in reduction reaction, students? The oxygens are removed or the hydrogens are added. Okay, oxygens are removed or the hydrogens are added. What happens in the case of Meerwein-Pondorf-Verley reduction? According to Meerwein-Pondorf-Verley reduction, when ketones are treated with isopropyl alcohol in the presence of aluminium isopropoxide, they get converted into alcohols. Okay, when ketones are treated with isopropyl alcohol in the presence of aluminium isopropoxide, they will get converted into alcohols. Let us write the reaction, students. R, C double bond O, R. I am taking a ketone, add isopropyl alcohol, CH3, CH3, CHOH. Okay, isopropyl alcohol. What happens in the presence of aluminium isopropoxide? In the presence of aluminium isopropoxide, what happens? RCHOH plus CH3, CH3, C double bond O. What happened here? Here C double bond O group has been reduced by the addition of hydrogen this side and this side. So C double bond O group is converting into alcohol group, and in this case the alcohol group has been reduced to ketone group. To understand clearly, I have taken general ketone so that you may not get confused with this. If I write CH3 here also and CH3 here, you will get confused. You may think that reactants and products are same. That's why I have taken general ketone so that you may get clarity, right? RCR double bond O is converted into RCHOH R. This is alcohol and this is a ketone. This reduction is called Merwin-Pondorf-Verley reduction. This takes place in the presence of aluminium isopropoxide. This is one of the reduction reactions of carbonyl compound. Okay, students? Let us move into the next reduction reaction. Clemmensen reduction. I hope students you have come across this reduction reaction in intermediate session. Let us read it again. Clemmensen reduction. What happens in Clemmensen reduction? Carbonyl compounds are converted into alkanes in Clemmensen reduction, and the reagent is zinc amalgam along with HCl, and the reduction reagent is zinc amalgam and HCl. Carbonyl compounds are converted into alkanes in the presence of zinc amalgam and HCl. This reduction is called Clemmensen reduction. For example, if you take aldehyde, okay, what happens? In the presence of zinc amalgam and HCl, the carbonyl group gets completely reduced into RCH2. Already H is present here, so totally we can write it as RCH3, right? The C double bond O is getting reduced into CH2 group in the case of Clemmensen reduction. The reagent we use is zinc amalgam and HCl. Let us write for ketone. R, C double bond O, R. What is the reagent, students? Zinc, amalgam and HCl. What happens here? The C double bond O will get reduced to CH2. So, R, CH2, R, an alkane. Right, here also an alkane. These are the general equations of aldehyde and ketone, how they get reduced in the presence of Clemmensen reduction. Let us solve the examples of aldehydes and ketones. Let us take few examples, 2 examples. Let us do with acetaldehyde. CH3 C double bond OH and CH3 C double bond O CH3. What happens in the presence of zinc amalgam and HCl? Zinc amalgam and HCl. What happens in the presence of zinc amalgam and HCl? The C double bond O will get converted into CH2, CH2 plus H, CH3. The product is CH3, CH3. So the product is ethane. Right? In this case, what happens? The C double bond O is converted into CH2. You will get CH3, CH2, CH3. The answer is propane. Right? This is about the Clemmensen reduction. We have done an example of aldehyde. The name of this compound is acetaldehyde. It is getting converted into ethane. And here acetone is getting converted into propane. Generally in exams, students, in competitive exams, they will ask conversions. How they will ask the conversion? Convert. What is the reagent used to convert carbonyl compound to alkane? Okay, to convert carbonyl compound to alkane, we use zinc amalgam and HCl. They will give in the options. These reactions are very important to study the conversions. Now, let us move into the next reaction. Let us move into the next reduction reaction. Wolff-Kishner reduction. What is the reduction reaction, students? Wolff-Kishner reduction. What happens? If you study Clemmensen reduction, you can easily write Wolff-Kishner reduction, because in Clemmensen reduction and Wolff-Kishner reduction, same thing happens. Carbonyl compounds will get converted into alkanes, but the reagent changes. The reagent is hydrogen in the presence of C2H5ONa, sodium ethoxide. Hydrazine in the presence of C2H5ONa, sodium ethoxide. Okay, let us solve. For example, if you take aldehyde, what is the general formula of aldehyde, students? RC double bond OH, and a ketone, RC double bond OR. Aldehyde and a ketone, RC double bond OH and RC double bond OR. What you will get in the presence of Clemmensen reduction? NH2, C2H5ONa. Hydrogen in the presence of sodium ethoxide, you will result in RCH2H, which is nothing but RCH3, an alkane. Here also RCH2R, which is nothing but an alkane. Right? In this case also, you are getting alkanes, but the reagent changes. Right? We have written about the general forms of aldehydes and ketones. Let us do with an example, students. Wolff-Kishner reduction is also used to convert carbonyl compounds to alkanes. For example, let us take acetaldehyde, CH3C double bond OH, in the presence of NH2, hydrazine in the presence of sodium ethoxide, you will get CH3, okay? And in the case of CH3C double bond O, CH3, NH2 in the presence of C2H5ONa, what happens, students? This C double bond O will be get reduced to CH2, you will get CH3, CH2, CH3. What happens in these reduction reactions of Wolff-Kishner and Clemmensen's? Just the carbonyl group will get converted, reduced to CH2 group. You have to remember this important point. Okay, this is the example of acetaldehyde that is getting converted into ethane, and an example of acetone which is getting converted into propane. Example of acetone which is getting converted into propane, and example of acetaldehyde which is getting converted into ethane. Okay. Next. Let us do the next reduction reactions, reduction with lithium aluminium hydride and sodium borohydride. Reductions are of two types, students. For example, if you take C double bond O group and reduce it with in the presence of reduction reagent, you will get CH2. This is a reduction, one type of the reduction reaction. If you take C double bond O group, carbonyl group, if you do reduction, you will get CHOH. What is the difference between these two reduction reactions, students? Here in this case, the C double bond O group is completely reduced into CH2. Okay, in this case, we are removing oxygen and adding hydrogen. What happens in this case? We are not removing oxygen, we are adding hydrogen. We are just reducing it by converting into double bond into single bond by adding H here and H here. We are not removing oxygen. Okay. So, if you consider MPV reduction, the same thing hasn't happened. But in Wolff-Kishner and Clemmensen followed this rule. Wolff-Kishner and Clemmensen followed this rule in which C double bond is completely reduced to CH2, whereas reduction with MPV and lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride followed this, where we have not removed oxygen but we have reduced the compound by adding hydrogens to that, converting into alcohols, converting into alkanes. Now let us see the reduction reaction of lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride. For example, RC double bond OH, okay, lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride do the same thing. You will get RCHOH and H, alcohol. What is happening here? C double bond O is getting converted into CHOH. Here the single bond is removed and the hydrogen is added to the carbon and oxygen. So you are getting R, CH, OH and H. The next thing, if you take ketone, RC double bond OR. If you take lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride, okay, you will get R, CHOHR. In this case, in the case of aldehydes, you are getting primary alcohols, right? What happens in the case of ketones? You are getting secondary alcohols. In this way, you can distinguish aldehydes and ketones from lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride. The main point to remember in this case of reduction is C double bond O is getting converted into CHOH by this reduction reaction. C double bond O is getting converted into CHOH by this reduction reaction. Okay students, let us solve few examples. I wrote on the arrow lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride. It means that we are not using both the reagents, lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride. One of these reagent is used, students. Let us move into the next. Let us do some examples. For example, take acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde. By this time, I hope you are perfect in these structures. Writing of structures of carbonyl compounds, formulas of carbonyl compounds, right? CH3, C double bond O, CH3. What is the name of this compound, students? Acetone. Okay, acetaldehyde and acetone. What happens? If you take lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride, if you take lithium aluminum hydride or sodium borohydride, what happens in this case? What happens, students? C double bond O will get converted into CHOH, right? And a H here, which is nothing but CH3 CH2OH, right? You are getting ethyl alcohol. Okay. What happens in the next case? CH3 CHOH CH3. C double bond O is getting converted into CHOH. CH3 CHOH. This is isopropyl alcohol, which is a secondary alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol, which is a secondary alcohol. Okay, students, this is about reduction reaction with lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride. What is the difference between the reduction reagent of lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride? Lithium aluminum hydride is a strong reducing agent, whereas sodium borohydride is less when compared to lithium aluminum hydride. Why is it so? Because of the more electronegative atom, okay, the electron density on the hydrides decreases. Hence, when the electron density on the hydrides decreases, they can act less as a nucleophile. So, in this case, the two principles what I have told you now works in the case of lithium aluminum hydride, which makes lithium aluminum hydride a stronger reducing reagent than sodium borohydride. So, how can we differentiate the use of lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride? lithium aluminum hydride can reduce both carbonyl group and unsaturated carbon also, whereas sodium borohydride can reduce only carbonyl group but not unsaturated carbon, carbons. Let us do. Do you remember the structures of formula of cinnamic acid and protonic acid, students, which we have obtained as a products in aldol condensation? We have obtained a products in Novangal reaction, Perkins reaction. Do you remember protonic acid and cinnamic acid? Let us write. Let me write protonic acid first. CH3, C double bond O, CH double bond CH, COOH is your protonic acid. What happens? If you take lithium aluminum hydride and if you take sodium borohydride, since it is strong, it reduces both the groups. Okay, CH3, CH, C double bond O group will get reduced into CHOH. Here unsaturated bond will also be reduced and converted into saturate, a hydrogen here and a hydrogen here. So CH2, CH2 double bond will be get converted into single bond and COOH. What happens in the case of sodium borohydride? CH3, CHOH, CH double bond CH, COOH. In the case of sodium borohydride, this group is not reduced. The unsaturated group is not reduced because it is not strong when compared to lithium aluminum hydride. Here the unsaturated group is same in the product also, whereas here the unsaturated group is also reduced in the product. Okay, we will get two different products. In this way we can differentiate the reagent of lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride. Here the C double bond O group is reduced to CHOH and CH double bond CH group is reduced to CH2 single bond CH2. Okay, in this case of sodium borohydride, here the group C double bond O is reduced to CHOH, but the unsaturated group does not reduced. Let us solve some example so that you will get perfection. Okay students, CH3 protonic acid, I have completed protonic acid. Let me write cinnamic acid. C6H5, C double bond O, CH double bond CH, COOH. Cinnamic acid. What happens if you take cinnamic acid? Let us write with lithium aluminum hydride. I hope you can write products for yourself, students. They are very simple now. So what happens when you take lithium aluminum hydride? You will get C6H5, CHOH, CH2, CH2, COOH. Both the groups gets reduced. Whereas here C6H5, CHOH, CH2, CH2, COOH. Only the carbonyl group got reduced. Okay, this is very important because lithium aluminum hydride can reduce unsaturated carboxylic acids, whereas sodium borohydride cannot reduce the unsaturation part of carboxylic acids. Okay students, let us move into the next topic. Okay, tests for aldehydes and ketones, and these tests are used to differentiate an aldehyde from a ketone. Okay, let us take aldehyde here and let us take a ketone here. What happens? If I write like this, you can understand easily. Aldehyde here, ketone here, and the name of the test here. Okay, what we can differentiate aldehydes and ketones by doing this test. Generally, in final year chemist practicals, they will give an organic compound and ask to find out the functional group of that organic compound. So these tests are very important. You will do practically in your lab to differentiate between aldehyde and ketone and to identify whether the functional group is of aldehyde or ketone. They will give you an organic compound. By doing this test, you can easily identify the functional group as an aldehyde group or ketone group. Okay, these tests are very important. Please remember the tests, students, and you will do it practically. The test will be very beautiful. Okay, the first test is 2,4 DNP test. 2,4 DNP test. 2,4 DNP means 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine. The structure is like this. 2,4 dinitro. This is second position nitro, fourth position nitro and hydrazine. 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine. Okay. For this, if you had aldehyde, what happens? Orange color PPT is formed. If you add ketone to this reagent, here also you will get orange color precipitate. Orange color precipitate here and an orange color precipitate here. This group cannot differentiate between aldehyde and ketone, but it is used for the identification whether it has a carbonyl group or not. Whether the given organic compound is a carbonyl compound or not. It is used to identify just the carbonyl group of aldehyde and ketone, because when you do this test with aldehyde or ketone, same orange color precipitate will obtain. Okay, let us do the equations for this. For example, if you take aldehyde, I am taking acetaldehyde, CH3C double bond OH. What is the formula of phenylhydrazine, students? Just now I wrote NH, NH2, okay, second position nitro, fourth position nitro, NH, NH2. What happens in this case? Water will be removed. You will get CH3CH double bond NH, benzene ring with NO2 and a NO2. This means phenylhydrazine is converting into phenylhydrazone. Okay, this test is 2,4 DNP test. In the same way, if you do for ketone, what happens? CH3, C double bond O CH3 plus NH2, NH, NO2 group here, NO2 group here. Here also water molecule will be removed. You will get CH3, C, CH3 double bond NH, benzene ring with nitro group in the second position and fourth position. Here in this case also, the phenylhydrazine is getting converted into phenylhydrazone. This is about the first test of carbonyl compounds which is used to identify just the functional group of carbonyl compound, that is 2,4 DNP test. What happens when you do Tollens test? What happens when you do Tollens test? If you do Tollens test for aldehyde, silver is deposited. I mean silver mirror is formed. They say that silver mirror is formed. Whereas In the case of ketones, no silver mirror is formed. No silver mirror is formed. Okay. What is Tollens reagent actually? Ammonical silver nitrate solution is called Tollens reagent. When you add for aldehyde, we observe a deposition of silver mirror around the flames, around the glass walls of a test tube, around the inner glass wall of a test tube. The inner glass wall of a test tube will shine because of the deposition of silver. Whereas if you do the same test for ketones, we do not observe any silver mirror. By this Tollens test, Tollens reagent is nothing but ammonical silver nitrate solution. Using this Tollens test, we can easily differentiate aldehyde and ketone. If a silver mirror is deposited, then it is a aldehyde. If a silver mirror is not deposited, then it is a ketone. Okay, students? Next test. Fehling's test. Fehling's test. If you do Fehling's test, a red precipitate due to deposition of cuprous oxide is observed in aldehyde. No red precipitate is observed in case of ketones. Red precipitate due to cuprous oxide is observed in aldehydes, but no precipitate in ketones. Okay. Fehling's test means we will have to add two reagents in lab. We will have two reagents, Fehling A and Fehling B. Fehling A will be in blue color, whereas Fehling B will be colorless solution. Fehling A is nothing but copper sulfate solution, whereas Fehling B is a colorless solution of sodium potassium tartarate salts. When you add both this Fehling A and Fehling B, a red PPT is observed in aldehyde, whereas no PPT is observed in ketone. Please remember, Fehling A is a blue color solution of copper sulfate and Fehling B is a colorless solution of sodium potassium tartarate solutions. Sodium, potassium and tartarate solution. In this way, we can easily differentiate aldehyde and ketones by using Fehling's test. Skiff's test. Pink color, no pink color. If you take an aldehyde and add Skiff's reagent to that, pink color is observed immediately. If you take a ketone, add pink color to that, add Skiff's reagent to that, pink color is not observed. In some cases, after a long gap, due to oxidation of Skiff's reagent with air, pink color may be seen. Because actually pink color is colorless, but in laboratories we will observe some pink color solution of Skiff's reagent because that is already got oxidized with air and converted colorless solution into pink color. If you add pink color solution to ketone, hence it will show pink color. So you have to add colorless Skiff's reagent test solution so that you can observe whether pink color is forming or not. Understood, students? Skiff's reagent test solution is actually colorless. You have to add, please careful while adding Skiff's reagent, whether it's look at into the bottle whether it is oxidized or not. It should be in colorless state. If it is already in pink color, I am telling that ketone will also give pink color. So it should be in colorless solution so that we can easily distinguish between aldehyde and ketone. Okay, Skiff's reagent is nothing but rosanilin hydrochloride. Skiff's reagent is nothing but rosanilin hydrochloride. Okay, students, let me try to write this structure. You will have something like this, NH2 here, NH2 here, NH2 here, and SO3H here. On further sulfuric acid, treatment of sulfuric acid, you will get NH3 plus, okay, C with benzene ring with NH2. Here also benzene ring with, I am not drawing perfectly benzene rings. Here also C with benzene ring. Okay students, you will get something like this, okay, SO3 minus, okay. This is the structure of rosanilin hydrochloride. This is the structure of rosanilin hydrochloride which we use in Skiff's test as Skiff's reagent. Okay students, 3 benzene ring with NH2 groups and a NH2 here with SO3H. This will become NH3 plus and SO3 minus. Last test is haloform. Last test is haloform test students. Okay. Aldehyde, formaldehyde do not give haloform. Formaldehyde will not give haloform, but acetaldehyde will give form haloform. Okay. Here methyl ketones. So the ketone must be compulsory a methyl ketone to form haloform. Actually, what is a haloform reaction? We'll add halogens, okay, and a base. We'll add halogens and a base. We have discussed the haloform reaction now students. The name reaction haloform along with mechanism, the same haloform reaction is nothing but haloform test. We'll take aldehyde and add halogen and a base. We'll get haloform. I mean bromoform, iodoform and chloroform. In laboratory, generally we'll do the test with iodine. Okay. We'll take aldehyde and add iodine to that and a base. Okay. Yellow color PPTs are formed. That indicates the formation of iodoform. So, in haloform, in laboratory, mainly we do the test with iodine plus base. You'll add iodine and a base to aldehyde or ketone. If it is formaldehyde, does not give because methyl group has to be present. So, acetaldehyde will give this test. So, when you add iodine and NaOH, when you do haloform test, you will get a yellow PPT for aldehyde. In the case of ketone, methyl ketones are only considered. Methyl group has to be present in that ketone. When you do iodoform test for that, iodine plus NaOH, you will get yellow color PPT resulting in the formation of iodoform. Let me write the equation for aldehyde. CH3C double bond OH plus 3I2 plus 4 NaOH gives rise to HC double bond ONA sodium formate plus CHI3 iodoform plus 3NaI plus water. This CHI3 indicates the formation of yellow color PPT. This is the iodoform CHI3 triiodomethane iodoform in the case of aldehyde. If you do same equation with ketone, CH3C double bond O CH3 plus 3 moles of iodine plus 4 moles of NaOH gives rise to CH3C double bond ONA plus CHI3 plus 3NaI plus water. Here also in this case we are getting CHI3 which is a iodoform. CHI3 yellow precipitate is a iodoform. So these tests are used to differentiate between aldehydes and ketones. To differentiate between aldehydes and ketones. What are the tests, students? 2,4-DNP test, Schiff's test, Tollin's test and silver mirror test. Students, this is the last session of carbonyl compounds, and the important questions of carbonyl compounds are study about the nomenclature, okay? Study how the ketones are classified into two types, symmetrical ketones and unsymmetrical ketones. Please study the preparations of aliphatic ketones and aromatic ketones. Study about the reactivity and nucleophilic addition reactions of carbonyl compounds, and the 6 important named reactions of carbonyl compounds are, remember students, please study, practice the mechanisms of every named reactions. You should be thorough with all the 6 reactions and their mechanisms. They are aldol, Perkin, Cannizzaro, benzoin, Novengal and haloform reaction. And finally, study about the oxidation, Baeyer-Villiger oxidation reactions of carbonyl compounds and reduction reactions with Meervin-Pondorf-Verley reduction, Clemmensen reduction, Wolff-Kishner reduction, reaction with lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride, and finally also study about the tests which are used to distinguish between aldehydes and ketones. Each and every concept of carbonyl compounds are very important. Each and every heading will be a question, students. For example, aldol condensation. So the question will be write about aldol condensation with the mechanism. For example, if the heading is test for aldehydes and ketones, they may ask write the test for aldehydes and ketones or differentiate aldehydes and ketones. Okay students, please prepare well the carbonyl compounds. You have to practice the mechanisms more. Thank you for watching this session, students. Thank you very much. See you in the next sessions.